Senator Lincoln said that she plans to vote against the public option. But I haven't heard her explain why she wants to deny you and me the freedom to select an alternative to the for-profit insurance companies that dominate this industry. She said she thinks reform should focus on changing the rules of our existing employer-based system. I can't argue with her on that, but I would like to sit down with her and explain why additional regulation alone will not get the job done. A public option is a critical element of being able to change the rules. Without it, the industry will continue to take its marching orders from Wall Street. Furthermore, Americans should not have to go broke to have the freedom to select a public option to protect their health. And Americans should not have to work their whole lives before they have the freedom to select a public option, as they can with Medicare. Working age Americans, the vast majority of our Kansans, should have the freedom to select the public option in the marketplace. And I'm just talking about an additional option, not taking anything away from it, just having one more option. In fact, if you want to trust Wall Street options for your health care, you should have the freedom to do that. But it should not be the only choice for hardworking Americans. Working people, the middle class in particular, deserve more options. More options, not fewer ones. I want to make one final point about the public option, because opponents of reform have been saying that it would result in a government takeover of our healthcare system. That is an absolute lie. The public option would operate just like private insurance companies, except that it would not have to pay executives millions of dollars or send billions of dollars of your premiums to Wall Street. It would be self-sustaining, which means that your tax dollars and mine would not support it. After it's up and running, it would be supported entirely by premiums that its policyholders would pay, and they would pay back every penny in startup costs over 10 years that it would need, they would get as part of healthcare reform. Folks, it is not too late to keep the insurance companies from winning, but time is running short. We need to think of the coming weeks as some of the most important weeks in the history of this country. We need to think that way because they will be. And we must redouble our efforts to make sure that Senator Lincoln and other members of Congress put our interests above those of private health insurance companies and others who view reform as a way to make more money. If we want to take back control of our healthcare system from the big for-profit companies that have wrecked it, we must take back control of this debate. We must begin to talk in ways that reach our friends and neighbors who have been influenced by the lies that they're hearing on TV and they're hearing from others. We need to tell them that we cannot continue to have a system that allows 45,000 Americans to die every year. That's 1 every 12 minutes because they don't have insurance. We must remind our family members and our friends and neighbors why we're having this debate in the first place, because I think that's been obscured by a lot of what we've been hearing lately. If your friends and neighbors tell you that they don't think their tax dollars should be used to pay for someone else's coverage, point out to them that they already are paying for the care that uninsured people receive when they go to the emergency room and can't afford to pay the bills that they get from the hospital. Working families with private insurance have to pay about $1,500 extra in premiums every year just to pay for that uncompensated care. If they say they don't want to saddle their children and grandchildren with additional taxes, tell them that the reform bill in the Senate will reduce the deficit, not add to it. And then ask them if they have thought what might happen to their children and grandchildren if Congress cannot pass reform and their children and grandchildren wind up among the millions of people without health insurance. Folks, I don't know a single American, at least I hope that I don't, who would want their children and grandchildren to be uninsured or underinsured for a single day. So over the coming weeks, we must tell our friends and others who are worried needlessly about a government takeover of a healthcare system that what we all should really be concerned about, what we should lose sleep over, is the Wall Street takeover that has occurred while we were not paying attention. It is that takeover that has led to more and more working Americans being forced into the ranks of the uninsured. It is that takeover that has forced millions more of us into the ranks of the underinsured, because insurance companies are making us pay thousands of dollars out of our own pockets before they'll pay a dime. It is that takeover that has forced many of our neighbors out of their homes and into bankruptcy. And it is that takeover that is causing more and more small businesses to stop offering coverage to their employees because of the exorbitant premiums that Wall Street-driven insurance companies are charging them. I want to close by suggesting that it is possible that the insurance industry will not win at all, at least this time. That what Congress comes up with during the coming weeks will not be a Frankenstein that will make matters worse. I'm optimistic that it might really enact reform and even create a public option that is so critically important. But know this, the insurance industry will be pulling out all the stops to keep that from happening. You'll be seeing a lot more advertising. So it'll be up to those of us who understand the importance of Congress getting it right this time to make sure that it actually does. So my call to action then is that we pledge to each other that we will let Senator Lincoln and her colleagues in Congress know that we expect them to do the right thing for us, not for the special interest and their army of lobbyists. Tell them that it is time that they take action to ensure that America finally joins the rest of the developed world in making sure that all of its citizens, our brothers and our sisters, our sons and our daughters, our neighbors and our co-workers, will have access to affordable health care. And that the day will come soon when doctors will not have to volunteer their time to treat any of us in animal stalls. Thank you.